Come here. I have a secret to share with you. Did you know there's only one true way to own property? And if you do it correctly, you don't need to pay for property taxes. Hi guys, this is Erica from Gokche Capital, and today we're discussing a secret you may have heard. It's that you must click the subscribe button. Just kidding. Today we're talking about Allodial title. You may have heard that this unique kind of title will exempt you from property taxes. And you may be wondering, is this true? Well, spoiler alert, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. In fact, falling for this sales pitch could get you in trouble. So first of all, what is Allodial title? Well, at its most basic, Allodial title is a property that is not beholden to a feudal relationship. So that means if you hold property in Allodium, you don't need to put on your armor and run off to your lord's castle whenever he wants to go pillaging. Phew, right? Of course, these days feudalism is long gone, so the distinction between Allodial title and feudal title is more or less moot. Sorry, King Charles. So why is such an obscure concept popping up all over the internet? Well, despite the fact that Allodial title more or less went the way of the dinosaurs when feudalism ended, there are some people who believe that 1. Allodial title still exists, and 2. It conveys a separate, superior form of title that could exempt you from property taxes. Sounds pretty good, right? But is there any backing to these claims? Well, before we go there, let's take a step back and define what fee simple ownership is, because it's often held in contradistinction to Allodial title. Fee simple ownership is, in simple terms, a form of private property in the United States. When you own property in fee simple, you own a bundle of rights, which allow you to improve a property, sell it, inhabit it, and keep people off of it. Fee simple is, in short, absolute ownership over land. The vast majority of private property in the United States is held in fee simple, and historically it has been considered a kind of Allodial title. So why the fuss? Well, when you own property in fee simple, you still need to pay property taxes, comply with local zoning and building regulations, and pay your mortgage. Your property could also be subject to the government's right of eminent domain, and there are people like Gregory Lauer of Oregon who object to all of these provisions, which is why Gregory brought a complaint in tax court against the Oregon Department of Revenue, claiming that his property should be removed from the tax rolls. Why? Well, Gregory claims that he can trace his ownership back to a grant from the federal government in the form of a land patent. You see, when the federal government owns property, it is exempt from state and local taxes. And some people believe that when the government transfers property to a private individual, this superior Allodial form of title comes with it. Now, you can find many people on the internet making these claims. Often, the arguments are a bit convoluted and cite many obscure legal cases. And I'm not a lawyer myself. Obligatory disclosure here, don't take any of this as legal advice. But I did read through a number of the cases cited, and I can say that they all appear to relate to very specific circumstances. For example, one quote from the United States versus the city of Kodiak states that unrestricted Allodial title is not subject to property taxes. Sounds pretty good, right? But when you look at the specifics of this particular case, you will see that is actually a circumstance where the United States government sued the city of Kodiak on behalf of Alaskan natives in an attempt to return property that was seized in a tax sale. In this case, it was the federal government, not a private individual, who was the plaintiff. And the government won its case because back when the United States acquired Alaska, Congress passed an act which stated that all public land currently held by Alaskan natives could not be sold without permission from the Department of Interior and was not subject to taxation or foreclosure. As an aside, this is actually also true of much land held in Native American reservations, which is perhaps the closest thing to Allodial title that you will find in the United States. The goal here is to protect Native American ownership of land by ensuring it cannot be sold. But the provisions are a bit patronizing, no? Still, this case highlights for me a key point of allodial title. It may not be all you bargained for. For me, the quest for allodial title is a bit like the white whale. You may think that it'll bring you freedom, but in fact, it's just leading you to the jaws of the beast. After all, if land is truly inalienable, that is, it cannot be seized by either the government or a creditor, then you also likely cannot sell it or use it as collateral. And this means you cannot get a mortgage, and you also likely wouldn't find a contractor who would work with you on improving your property, since contractors rely on liens in order to ensure they will be paid. And as I just mentioned, you may not be able to sell your property without it losing its allodial status. Oh, but wait, Erica, you're going too far, you may be thinking. No one is saying you can't sell your property if you get allodial title, only that you may be exempt from property taxes. And I just want to know if this is true. Well, let's see how Gregory did with his case. In the end, the judge ruled that only federal property is exempt from property taxes, and that Gregory's claims had no merit. And for what it's worth, you can find many other cases with the exact same result. In fact, some plaintiffs were even charged a fine because their claims were considered frivolous. I also called a few lawyers myself, and all gave me the same response. No, there is no magic way to exempt yourself from property taxes. But if you're still thinking, well, why not try going through the process outlined on some of these sites? Well, know that there may be consequences. Allodial title is not exactly like a multivitamin, mostly harmless, so why not try it to see if it works? For if you stop paying property taxes or your mortgage under the assumption that you now have allodial title, you could lose your property. But even if things don't go that far, the process of trying to claim your allodial title will likely cost you, whether in the form of recording fees, court fees, or expert fees. And all of this is essentially money down the drain. Which is why I think it is sometimes better to let the whale go. But what do you think? Am I wrong? Let me know in the comments. And also, don't forget to check out our Gokce Know Your Land quiz. Take it to get $100 off our $1 down listings. Until next time.